Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Erin McGuire. I'm a spiritual and abundance business coach for light workers, highly sensitives, and empaths. And I help you move through trauma in your business and life so you can step into full embodiment and alignment in who you are and express that to the world. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me if you'd share these videos with your friends, family, whoever, and hit the bell if you're liking this video. Today I wanted to get into the differences between little t and big T trauma, and to kind of what I like to call normalize trauma, because we hear that word and we get really scared and we go, I'm not somebody that has trauma, because that sounds like the big scary worst thing ever. So before I get into that, I just want to really break down the 6 human needs, especially the first 4 of those human needs, and how we are wired as humans to get these needs met, regardless if you think you don't need them. Okay, so especially the first 4. So this comes kind of from like Maslow's hierarchy, but this is Tony Robbins' version of the 6 human needs. And first is certainty. So we need to make sure that there are certain things that are certain in our life, like money and food and family and all that kind of stuff, right? Second need that we have is uncertainty or variety. Now you might be going, no, I'm not somebody that needs a lot of variety. But remember, everybody needs these needs, especially the first 4. So if you don't have a lot of variety in your life, you probably have a pretty boring life. So you're probably kind of feeling stuck in some area of your life if you're just kind of like on autopilot all the time. For instance, love and connection. So this is the one I really want you to pay attention to when we get into the trauma talk, but that is what we are wired for, especially as kids, but all the time. Significance, that's number 4. So needing to feel like you're valuable, like you matter, like you're good enough, that sort of thing. Again, you might think significance, and also that you're important. You might think, oh, I don't need that, but we do. We all need to feel like we're adequate, like we matter, like we are good enough. And then growth and contribution are the other 2. And those are kind of, as you get those first 4 needs met, you kind of self-actualize a little bit more, and you want to grow and you want to contribute and give back to the world. So we want to get into trauma now, thinking about those 6 human needs and how we might get those needs met in various ways throughout our life and day to day. I want to talk about big T versus little t trauma. So a big T trauma is a reaction to a deeply disturbing, life-threatening event or situation. And this might be like a natural disaster, or a war, or a physical or sexual abuse, death of a primary caregiver. This can all be like big T trauma. It's very traumatizing. It lasts with you for the rest of your life to some degree or another. It's like the big scary stuff. And that's what we think about when we think about trauma. And so then we don't really associate ourselves as having that if we didn't experience those things. But it's actually the little t trauma that I'm going to go into now that is the stuff that most of us have had to some degree or another, and that can be just as debilitating as the big T trauma for the most part, because probably little t trauma was happening on a day-to-day basis, weekly basis. So it happens a lot. So for instance, little t trauma is any event or ongoing situation that causes distress, fear, and a sense of helplessness. It's ongoing. So again, this might happen every day. And so a therapist of mine once told me that, you know, like living with somebody who, like I grew up with an alcoholic. So living with somebody who is volatile is no different than like going to war, except I would do that on a daily basis, right? So I want you to really think about that it's really no different. It's just, you know, they're different experiences, but have the same impact on your nervous system, and we hold that trauma within our body. So having an emotionally unavailable parent is an example, being bullied, a parent that overworks, a parent addicted to drugs or alcohol, having no boundaries with your parent, having to caretake a parent or sibling. These are examples of little t trauma. And then I want to give you one more definition of trauma, because I want to play this out for you that literally every one of us at this point in time has experienced trauma. First and foremost, because of the pandemic we've all went through. That is a traumatic global event that we've all experienced. It's affected every single person on the planet's life to some degree or another, and it's still playing out. So they say that sometimes trauma shows up 2 years after the event, so that the effects of the trauma can show up 2 years after the event. And so, mental health is taking a nosedive through this experience and whatnot. So I don't need to tell you much about that. You know what you've experienced. But the other thing that we've all experienced trauma in is that we're born with this inner knowing that love is unconditional. And yet our parents, our primary caregivers, and this is not a knock to them, but they condition the love. And we do this, it's just human, it's just what we do as humans, right? Your kid does a good job, you say, good job, you did amazing in the run or on the test or whatever. And they come home with the D, and we maybe don't praise them as much. And so the child starts to learn that when I do well, when I achieve, I get attention, I get that love and connection / attention cup filled up. So then they train themselves that that's how we get love, that's how we get connection with our parents. And so they want to do more of that. And so then they kind of turn themselves into a perfectionist. This is just an example, but I know it's an example a lot of people can relate to. Same thing with being a people pleaser, like caregiving a parent or getting attention when you do certain things for your parent or caregiver. And then you wire yourself to do more of that. So it's just understanding that we all have trauma to some degree or another, and it's really how we work with it. And there's a lot of different ways. Breath work is an amazing way to move trauma. Yoga, meditation, taking some moments to just connect with yourself. If you notice, when I connect with myself, I place my hand over my heart a lot. And to me, that it's like a signal to my body that, hey, we're going to go within. We're going to take some me time. We're going to get grounded here. And it's a way to just kind of be with myself. So maybe you just sit that way for 3 minutes and just focus on your breath. I gave this to a client yesterday. It's just a simple breathing technique of inhale to the count of 4, hold the breath for 4, exhale to a count of 4, and hold the breath out for 4. He's really busy and really stressed. And I said, just do 3 breaths. Just start your day, put your feet on the ground. Let's do this together. Let's do one round together so you get a feel for this. So feet flat on the floor. And then we're just going to inhale. So begin inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold the breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. That was just one breath and I already feel more relaxed, right? So it's just little things that we can do to undo the trauma within our bodies. I will be creating more videos on some embodiment practices and trauma release exercises in the future. But for now, if you want any more support, you can join one of my 2 monthly memberships. My first one, it's just $27 a month. It's called Unravel to Rise. And you get a profound, deeply guided meditation, a energy activations. This is where we clear the blocks in the subconscious mind from the trauma, and a workbook to work on for the month, my soul work, as I like to call it. And you get to do that at any time throughout the month that you want, as many times as you want. So it's a totally do it for yourself on your own self-paced thing. And that is just for the person that's really busy but wants some structure to help them heal and process. The second is my Empowered Women Monthly membership. This is a live group coaching program with me via Zoom, and all the calls are recorded. You get a group coaching call, an energy healing, and a breathwork session every month, plus a couple yoga classes. and some soul work workbooks to do. And it's cheaper for either of those programs if you buy a package. So those are some options to continue to move forward, to grow. And I would just love to support you on your journey. So again, if you liked this video, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and I hope to see you again really soon. Let me know if this landed. And if you've experienced some little t trauma, or if you're just like somebody that's like, oh, I didn't even know that I had trauma, just bringing awareness to it. It's not like we need to be sad or depressed about it, but we just need to be aware that it's there and that we may be storing this in our body. And I will say this too, that over time, trauma that's been held in the body can lead to chronic pain, chronic fatigue. I suffered from chronic fatigue for a long time. I still have bouts of that I'm working through. And what I notice is the more I give time to myself, the more I do these practices that I tell other people to do, that I have less and less of those physical symptoms because my body's able to have a place to release stuff. So more videos on that in the future. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you again really soon.